Joe Zikas from New Home Notebook. I'm sitting here this morning with Doug Ayers, who's the president and CEO of Koenig Strey. HomeServices of America, which you're part of now, Doug, the CEO of that company, Ron Peliter, has been called the most influential person in the real estate industry in America. And part of that is due to the fact that he's been a leader in technology. What do you have on the boards that's going to affect real estate technology in Chicago?
Well, I think, I've known Ron for 30 years. I've been in the business 30 years and worked in Minnesota, before I came to Chicago. And I think that the vision and the plan for HomeServices and Ron's vision over that is well placed in that his influence has really dramatically changed the industry and continues to change it. I think for us, the ability to have the resources and the freedom to move forward with a lot of the initiatives that we were maybe bogged down with over the last few years, where we were passed by a lot of competitors, whether it be on technology fronts, etc. That we're about to unveil a new website, consumer-facing website, here within the next 60 days. We are adding a tremendous amount of agent tools to that as well. It's not all about the internet, but I'll tell you what, if you're not there in the right place and you're not being, recognized and relevant within that framework, you're not going to be in this business. And so we've got an awful lot of plans, going forward. Our goal is pretty simple. We want to be the #1 response or result when somebody does a Google search around real estate within the Chicagoland marketplace. It's a pretty lofty goal, but it can be achieved because of the fact that I think a lot of people still don't understand how the internet works and how people search. And if you focus your attention on, the consumer, which is what HomeServices does, which is what we do, and what their behavior is and how they're acting, and then you start to act about how we go about meeting those expectations and needs in terms of what they're running in terms of searches and how they're looking to get real estate services provided to them, and you start to match those things together with technology, with service, with other parts of the business as well, you're going to be very successful.
Assuming you become #1 in search, how are you going to keep people coming back to the site?
Well, that's the second part of it. You've got to be a destination for people, and you've got to provide a lot of resources. You've got to provide a lot of information. It's not just about listings today. Listings is what kind of draws people's attention. I want to find a property, but they're looking for a lot of other information, whether it be community information, whether it be the aspect of how the market conditions are affecting pricing overall, and what each individual drill down marketplace is doing. That's what buyers are looking for. I mean, to have this 30,000 feet view of the economic situation in real estate is one thing, but they're looking in my neighborhood, how is it affecting, or with this neighborhood that I'm looking at buying, how is it affected? So you've got to be able to have that kind of information drawn together with the listing information and the other services that you provide to keep people coming back. And you've got to be relevant on a regular basis and keep changing that and updating and making sure that you are giving them current, accurate, real-time information, which this industry has somewhat lagged on that. It's been, here's what it is, and then when the next quarter comes out, you might hear something else because of reports that come. But there's things that are happening every day in the marketplace. It's a living, entity, the marketplace, and I don't know if we as an industry have done a good enough job of presenting that to the public so that they understand that it changes every day. It changes every hour.
When I talk to buyers, I consistently hear one website that they like in Chicago, and that's Redfin. And they like Redfin, they tell me, because Redfin is giving them more data about the listing than anybody else. Your reaction?
I'm not sure if they're providing more data about the listing. Put it this way: the person that has the most data about that listing is the person who lists it. And if we or any other entity
they're providing recent sales information, listing history on the listing, and price changes, and people seem to be enamored of getting that info.
That goes back to that real-time information, in terms of giving people, what they're looking for. I think our industry has been pretty reticent in some respects to give out all the information because they feel like, well, then they don't need us. Now, it's interesting, that if people are going to the website for information, it hasn't necessarily translated to going to their company for service. And that's the one thing.
They're still working with other agents from other companies, including Koenig Strey.
Absolutely.
But getting their information from Redfin's website.
And our goal is, with our launch of our new website, that changes for at least Koenig Strey, that they're going to us for that same, information bank. And I think Redfin, there's other people that have done a good job of taking the information that's out of there, coordinating it and presenting it to the consumer in a fashion that they want to see it. I think that historically a lot of traditional companies have been reticent to do that, or agents have been reticent to do that because of the fact that they felt that they were giving something up that the person should come to them individually for. The reality is that's all out there, Joe. And if we aren't the person that's coordinating it, putting it all together and presenting it in a fashion where the consumer can easily find it and get the information and then go to us next for that level of service and interpretation of that information, that's our mistake. And as I said, you'll see us correcting a lot of those things as our new website comes out, because of the fact that we will be at the front end of all this. Redfin hasn't done a new website this week or this month, and we will.